Welcome to TMS Live, the Media Speaks live from all three of us guys of the Media Speaks. I'm joined today by D Lake for Prez, David Lake, and Sam I.B. to Ganji. How are you guys doing today?
Doing good, Kyle.
Greetings.
Thanks.
We wish
We
we had a happier topic.
Yeah, we normally do. Our show is very, very immature, filled with jokes and inappropriate leanings. The last time that we had something like this happen, it was live. We made a few jokes. We got a lot of clicks and a lot of hate mail out of it too. So we're going to be talking about the Charleston church shooting today. I know a lot of people might be like, "All right, I've heard enough. I know what happened," and a lot of people might be like me, who are following this up to the hour on Google Instant Results, trying to figure out exactly what happened. So I wanted to spend the first few minutes for anybody out there who's watching this, who's been in Canada for the past week. Let's break down exactly what happened. I'm just going to read really quickly from the Wikipedia article on this, which has been updated very, very recently. It's got plenty of sources. On the evening of June 17th, 2015, a mass shooting took place at Emmanuel African Methodist Episcopal Church, I hope I didn't mispronounce that, in downtown Charleston, South Carolina, United States. The church is one of the United States' oldest black churches. The pastor, the guy in charge of this, was a state representative, as far as my reading told me. And just I'm reading through this at the same time that I'm trying to get the information out, just to make sure that I don't get anything wrong. I've been reading it
Reverend
for the
Pickney.
past 3 days. What was his name?
Pickney, I believe.
Yeah, and the shooter, who I believe we have a confession from at this point, Dylann Roof. It's showing motive on Wikipedia as racism, which in a lot of these cases, when they immediately have that, especially this soon, it's like, whoa, whoa, whoa. But you look at the information, which we're going to be getting into, and there's
Kyle,
really...
just to jump in, very first headlines that appeared the other day was white man kills, nine blacks at black church. Obviously, hate crime day one, racism involved.
Yeah, and
wearing
at
these
first when I heard that, I was like,
South.
whoa, 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 that's jumping to a lot of conclusions, but as the information has come out,
Yeah.
that's absolutely what the motive
Okay, well, can we follow down that trail, Kyle? Go ahead.
was. Glock 41 that his parents got him for his 21st birthday, so new owner of a gun. He had a history of drug use. A few of his friends said that he was a pill popper. He'd been caught with a drug.
Mhm.
Where's the... Do you remember the name of the drug that they found in his pocket? It was like
Suboxone.
Suboxone, which
Yeah.
I've read about and
It's
I've
it's it's
talked to a
used
few
for the
people.
recovery of heroin addiction, which has never made a lot of sense to me. I have friends, and for obvious reasons, we'll just leave it at the word friends, who have been on this, and they have described it to me as substituting one addiction for another, but at least it's legal.
Yeah, well, I talked to
Dead
somebody.
serious. It's sometimes paraphrased, but Kyle, is that not what you've heard?
Yeah, I talked to somebody who didn't take it for, which I have read that it's used a lot for heroin withdrawal, but I talked to somebody who plays around with that kind of stuff, and they got it from somebody who got it for that reason, and they said that it was complete euphoria, that it was similar to, the way he put it is like it's almost similar to like something like LSD or Xanax, which is, yeah, it
So,
doesn't
all right.
sound like...
Let's look at this real quick. Hypothetically, in a prior time, I may have tried a hallucinogen. Now, we all know that LSD, if I would have tried it, is not addictive. So you can get all the trippy, happy little things and not be addictive, but no. Let's abuse the addictive drug that makes you happy and trippy. So now you're twice at risk. That sounds like a great idea.
Yeah, and I had a conversation with somebody who had used this stuff before, and I was kind of... when they said that to me, it was weird because if you think of
And to
like
be clear,
LSD...
new listeners, we make jokes about using stuff, but none of us mess with stuff like this.
No, yeah, I'll say
And
straight up.
and according to the article by Paul Joseph Watson, PJ Dub on Infowars.com, it was actually the top link the other day on the Drudge Report. And The headline says that Charleston shooter was on drug linked to violent outbursts. So, I mean, you're trying to recover from an opiate addiction to treat opiate. It didn't say heroin, it said opiate. Suboxone.
Which let's be clear, he was caught with that, and he got arrested for having that. So he did not have a prescription to it. So it's not like he was given that by a doctor or anything. He was getting pills
Should
illegally.
have taken super female vitality. And I also wanted to point out that my friend said that Dylann Roof had pretty much the same haircut as the Sandy Hook shooter, and to stay away from anyone around 21 with this haircut. Kyle, you're closer in age to this young gentleman's demographic, and can you address the fact that it's prescription drugs and poor education and a broken family that most likely led to this young man's decisions?
Yeah, I really couldn't agree more. I think that there were things in our current society, in our current everyday news feeds that contributed, but I think even without those elements there, this kid had some serious issues. And I mean, you joked around about the bowl cut, but I'm 26. I'm the youngest on the show today, and I know people who are 21. Not that many, but I know a few. And 21-year-olds, like it's weird. Like it's
See, I work in an adult club, and I probably know more 21-year-olds than just about anyone. And I have found that the only major difference I've found in the generations is that the younger generation now seems to be more about not offending someone, or it used to always be that young people were the first one to tell you to go fuck yourself. That's not really the case anymore. It's almost like they've lost a bit of individuality. But I found that happening in my generation. It's not something that I think is new. I think it's been happening
yeah.
since the outburst in the 60s, which of course was wanted. But after that, once any kind of other outburst that isn't like a bra burning sort of event isn't something that's welcomed.
Well, we do, but I do want to point out like the physicality of this kid, Dylann Roof, or it might be pronounced Roth. I've heard it pronounced both ways, but you run into a lot of 21-year-olds. In my job, I work at a gas station late at night, which is when all the teenagers are out. So I run into quite a few 21-year-olds. You don't see any 21-year-olds running around with bowl cuts, wearing all black with like South African patches on them. Like that would stand out very much to me. Like 21-year-olds wear flat-billed hats, they wear a lot of jerseys, and they don't wear belts. And if they do wear a belt, it's not holding their pants up. It's just there for style. Like that's your average 21-year-old. So you look at this guy immediately, you're like something's going on with him. And I want to point out that more so, in my opinion, and tell me where you guys lie on this, more than the fact that he was a pill popper, more than the fact that he obviously had something going on mentally, his parents gave him a handgun. They gave him a Glock for his 21st birthday, and like multiple people have been quoted saying that like he was very on again, off again with his parents, like which a lot of 21-year-olds are. But I wouldn't buy a lot of 21-year-olds a Glock for their birthday either.
Yeah, and I mean, when you buy your 16, 17, 18-year-old a new car, that comes with, getting your license at the DMV, driving lessons, all that other stuff. When you buy a kid a 45 caliber handgun, don't you think that should come with some gun range training and some learn how to use this and appropriate discipline involved? I don't really think that happened. Kyle, can you segue into Dylann Roof's manifesto?
Yeah, it actually just came out. And really quickly, as I'm segueing over and pulling this up, I want to say that like I don't think anybody on this show is anti-gun at all.
Not at all.
I
Not at
own a
all.
gun, but like there's certain people who like, especially in a parental situation, like if your kid is like a horrible driver, like it may be hard, but don't buy them a car right away. Keep practicing, like for the love of
And I,
God.
I don't want to lose track of the most important thing. And I would like to think if listeners are hearing this and they are somewhat more liberal on their gun views than we are. Look at it this way. Well, liberal as in Liberal Party Democrat, not liberal as in allowed.
Yeah.
What if just one person in that church had been armed?
Oh,
Don't you think
absolutely.
the idea would have been, it would have been better to have had
Oh,
more guns? And let me tell you why. Because people are going to say, well, Christ said to turn the other cheek. Christ also was in favor of the protection of the life of the innocent. I've had people ask me before when I was driving cab once, kind of facetiously. They said that I took martial arts, and yet I said I was a Christian, and Christ said to turn the other cheek. Christ also told me that I had to protect my wife and that the body is a temple. That means that if someone steps to me or her, I was married at the time, if
And
someone steps to me or her, that I'm going to do something wrong, I get to pick. Guess which
and
I pick? I'm going to shoot your ass.
a roundhouse kick is my interpretation of turning the other cheek. And
Yeah, indeed. So, yeah, what if a church member had been armed? That's my question.
I agree, but I want to get into the debates after we've gotten past a lot of the information. I couldn't agree more. I
Yes.
wish all those people had guns, but I took his manifesto. I downloaded everything off of his very shitty website.
let's stick to the facts and get to the manifesto.
Yes, yes.
So the manifesto, like, first I want to read the bottom because to me, like, it sounds, and there's no date stamp. I couldn't find anything. I tried looking into like back ways of looking at a website, and I couldn't find anything. I think he did it through just like some shitty editor. But he's got a few different sections in it. And
Whenever
at
it
the
came
end,
out, it was like released within today since yesterday.
yeah. So I downloaded it like 10 minutes ago. Here's an explanation at the end. I want to read this a little bit from it first. To take a saying from a film, I see all this stuff going on, and I don't see anyone doing anything about it, and it pisses me off. What movie is that from? I don't know. Do you know,
Falling
Dylan?
down? Falling down?
Is that Falling Down, maybe?
I don't know.
It,
That's my
it
guess.
might be. All right. To take a saying from my favorite film, even if my life is worth less than a speck of dirt, I want it to be used for the good of society. I don't know what movie that's from either. This guy's watching some weird movies. But then he goes on, I have no choice. I'm not in a position to alone go into the ghetto and fight. I choose Charleston because it is most historic city. It's the most historic city in my state, and at one time had the highest ratio of blacks to whites in the country. We have no skinheads, no real KKK, no one doing anything about it on the internet. Well, someone asked to have the bravery to take it to the real world, and I guess that has to be me. And this is the part that's really interesting to me. Unfortunately, at the time of writing, I am in a great hurry, and some of my best thoughts, actually many of them, have to be left out or lost forever. But I believe enough great white minds are out there already. Please forgive any typos. I didn't have time to check it. That's the lamest way you can possibly end a manifesto. Like, dude, and that says something about the person who
Well,
did
you know,
this.
if he didn't kill people right away, there weren't going to be any people to kill. So he had to put a rush on it.
Well, like, it's a man. Like, I'm normally not like a grammar Nazi, but like, it says something about the person who did this. I think that they couldn't even take the time to like. They're writing this manifesto about why they are better than other races, and they can't even take the time to spell check it. So this isn't somebody really like a
Oh,
deep thinker.
I must have missed that part, but I am a grammar Nazi. How dare that individual?
Like, well, like it says something about him though, right? That like he's obviously not thinking this through at all. Like he's not just some kid. Like
They wrote this big long thing with a giant indented paragraph. This event that truly awakened me. The event was Trayvon Martin. Oh,
yeah.
Jesus.
No, but I think there's something in there that like look at this through the aspect of like a 21-year-old high school dropout living in the South, and like from his perception, he's saying that he thinks that when black people do something, that people just give them a pass because like that's like deep down they think that they're inferior. and that he feels
Right.
like he's like held to like some higher standard. It's like, so that's what I was saying in the beginning, where it's like, yeah, there were like some societal things in our culture that like were kind of triggers, but like that was just the trigger, I think. Like that, this was gonna
You
happen no matter what. Like that was just the thing that set him off.
Did you mention that on the site he pinpoints Charleston as his target because of its high proportion of blacks and bemoans that there's no real KKK to help him, and
Well,
also
that's because
that
the KKK barely exists. They have like less than 8,000 members currently.
yeah, most of them are FBI. Here he is with one of his guns, Confederate flag. He's burning the American flag, wearing
Random plants.
A
Here, I
Gold's
have the
Gym
full.
tank top when it looks like he's never been to Gold's Gym. Here he
w-
is stomping and spitting on the American flag, and here he is pointing his birthday present, the 45, at the camera. These are the black individuals that he slaughtered. He says at the end of the passage he wrote, I have no choice. I am not in the position to alone go into the ghetto and fight. So he wanted to go into the ghetto and fight. Why would you go, Kyle? Why would he go to a church though? I mean, if he wanted to kill the blacks that he sees as ruining society and being violent, I mean, those aren't old ladies at a church, okay?
And might I add, most recently, though many people have done it, I understand this. Most recently, the person who got the most attention and praise for stepping on a flag was Lil Wayne. So he's actually emulating the very people who have gotten famous for doing things that he's doing, and he's proving that this isn't so much a color issue as I would say an anger issue that we're seeing, and no one knows where to
Yeah.
put it.
Yeah, definitely. Like because you even look at his Facebook, which we'll get into, I know, in a bit, but his Facebook page, like half the friends on there are like black kids who went to the same high school with him. But the other side of that is like all of them. I went through a ton of the pages seeing if any of those people were saying anything, and the only thing anybody was saying is like, yeah, I like kind of know who he is. Like he went to my high school and friend requested me. Like none of them like really knew him. I haven't seen anybody on Facebook or Twitter be like, "Yeah, I was a friend of his." And
He
I
only had 80-something friends, but his black friend was his homeboy, quote unquote. And a week before the shooting, he said that. Oh, this is an interesting picture. He said that he wanted to shoot up the local college, and his black homeboy hid the gun from him in an attempt to keep him from doing it. And now they're racked with guilt that we got the gun back. And Kyle, this is just a deranged young man.
yeah, and like frankly, a wimp. Like I'm looking, if you look at the picture that I have up, it's him at like what looks like a train station or restaurant bathroom, and he's got that jacket on there that he wears everywhere that's got the South African flag, the old flag from apartheid, which is like his little
Yeah.
message that he doesn't like black people. But the thing is, like, if he was like, why not a Confederate flag? Like, why not white power? Like, you went with like the one thing that like espouses your message, but nobody actually knows what it means, so nobody's really going to get in your face about it, you know?
Well, he flies the Confederate flag as well. You can see here,
Yeah, in his backyard at
and
night.
in his backyard at night with his Gold's Gym tank top when it looks like
Yeah.
he's never been to
But when
Gold's
he's
Gym.
out in a public place, he wears his apartheid jacket because nobody knows what that means. So nobody's gonna think twice about it. They'll think it's some soccer shit or something.
Yeah, when
Where
they
like,
break it down on the internet, yeah, it deals with apartheid and has to deal with like white supremacy in Africa.
yeah, why didn't you have a
And
white power shirt? Because you would have gotten your ass kicked. He wears this.
so, what are you trying to say? He's a big pussy?
Yeah, that's why he went into a church, right? If you were legitimately like had a
And sat
like
there
what
for an hour before he started shooting with,
he says, like
remind
you're
you, his 45 caliber, not an assault rifle, not an automatic weapon. He wasn't strapped to the hilt uh, the Sandy Hook shooter, allegedly.
But he says like I can't take this to the ghetto alone, and like the things that he
Hmm.
says like oh you're taking our women and ruining our culture, something like that is what he said before he walked out. Like,
Oh, man.
then why did, like, you went to a church where you're least likely to find anyone doing that? Like, these
That
are,
that underlines, I think, the fact that D-Lake stated here. This was a person who, and this is rare, genuinely believed that all black people were evil. He didn't differentiate between the thug,
Except his homeboy.
and I would argue that I dislike of any thug culture, no matter what color they are. But he didn't dislike a culture. This evil man genuinely disliked a race. There was no difference to him between a black individual at a church or a black individual who is a thug gunning down, raping someone.
see, I don't know, though. I don't know.
It'd be like looking at saying there's no difference between Kyle and there's no difference between Kyle and Charles Manson. He didn't see any difference. He was truly
No, I think he did see a difference. I think he saw the difference that one group will shoot back and the other group won't.
Oh, I could see that. Yeah.
So I think
Another
that I
point.
think he saw the difference. They were an easier target.
I could see that.
He went to a gun-free zone. He went to a church in a
Because
gun-free
he
zone.
was a wimp. He was scared of somebody shooting back at him. Like I said, there's a reason that he doesn't have a white power shirt on. He's wearing a flag that's irrelevant to 99% of everybody. Like, he's a wimp. And a church he knew that he wouldn't get shot back at. When the
He
cops
said
came for him, he didn't commit
he-
suicide. He turned himself in. Like, he's a wimp.
Well,
He's a psychopath.
wait right there, Kyle, because he must have killed 9 people at the church and then left because he was reportedly pulled over in his car.
Yeah.
At a later time after the shooting, he was apparently the prime suspect. There was a period of time where it's like, we can't find this guy. We need to arrest him. And then he just happened to be doing something suspicious where a traffic cop pulled him over, and then it says he was compliant with the traffic officer, and now he's in custody. And now all his confession comes out. Then his Facebook page that was just started this year with 80 friends, more than half of them black. His black homeboy saying that he wanted to go shoot up a church, probably while he was high on Suboxone. And, I mean, I'm not looking for a false flag under every rock, but is there anything suspicious beyond this guy just being kind of a weird pussy shooter guy, Kyle? I mean, was this, I don't want to say funded, but was this inspired by anything else? Was it inspired by Donald Trump joining the presidential race?
I don't feel false flag here, Kyle. How about you?
I don't either. Like, I look at this.
If there was a false flag, you would have had an automatic weapon, is my thought. But go ahead, guys. What do you think?
Things that seem suspicious to me, right off the bat, are the Facebook page, and then like how easily the arrest went afterwards. But aside from that, which both those things can be explained, like this guy is a 21-year-old who wears around black sweaters and black jeans with a bowl cut. I don't think he has too many friends, and so that would kind of explain like the lack of Facebook activity, at least possibly. But the pulling over part, like, I can't help but feel like every other situation, and like rightfully, like if this happened in your town, would you expect that he would be like, I'm curious how that traffic citation went, but I feel like there's no proper way for that to go down without 3 cops with like guns out. Like, he has a gun. He just shot 9 people. Like, that seems way too peaceful to me. Is that like weird? Like, can you think of one other time where like somebody killed somebody and then like, oh, just got him on a traffic stop and he came with us? That seems a little bit weird to me, but no, I think this is a guy who was fucking around with pills, and we've seen like you don't really know what you're gonna get a lot of the time. I think that he was mad at society. He's a 21-year-old white male who, as Adam Carolla has said a ton of times, you're kind of like the least wanted person in society. Like, women don't like you because 21-year-old women can easily get with the 28-year-old dude instead, and he's got a car and a house. Like, women aren't into you. Like, all your friends are like working on shit. You're working on shit, or maybe you're not working on shit, and that makes it even worse. Like, your parents are giving you pressure. Why do you still live here? Like, it's not a fun time for a lot of people. And you put all that combination on somebody with a really weak psyche. I think this is possible. There's what, 7 billion people in the world. Like, this happens and it's unfortunate, but
But see, Kyle, those are real issues. If people focus on them, then they actually have to speak to their neighbors. It's easier just to ban the Confederate flag,
I agree.
or it's easier. Have you heard about this? I gave it to you ever so briefly, I think, off air. Knife regulation coming
Yeah.
from the government. When I had made a video called "Bob Costas is Right," it's one of the most viewed videos on my site. I thought it was a joke. It's not. Rather than talk about what Kyle's talking about, this is Zero Hedge. And again, it's not Zero Hedge's fault, but when it comes to contents of the TPP, the most important of the Obama laws for his second term, merely leaking its content to the press can result in imprisonment or treason charges. But other laws, such as S1315, are perfectly transparent and open. And nobody in Congress is drafting the TPP and apparently not even able to pass it despite backers' demands. It says there is a vivid example of your government hard at work. Presenting S1315, Knife Owners Protection Act of 2015. It would allow people to possess knives in states that are illegal if the person is traveling to and from states where the knife is legal. If the knife is secured or if the knife is in a safety blade designed for cutting. I'm not going to read the whole thing. Do you get where it's going?
Yes.
We can ban knives. For those of you that want to die of boredom, look that up. We can ban knives. We've got articles here. It's flashing on my Facebook. Banning the Confederate flag over at Ben Wade's site. Shout out, Ben. No, we're going to deal with nothing that Kyle said, nothing that David has said, nothing that I've implied for years. We're going to deal with this superficial stuff, and that's what alarms me the most.
Yeah, and I mean, it's hard to watch some of the conversations going on right now because, like, I don't think anybody here, like, I agree, like, we all agree this kid should not have had a gun, but that doesn't mean that you go and ban knives. Here, I want to go back to the manifesto for a second. D-Lake, if you can put me up on the main screen. He has here, he does a whole thing on, like, why he doesn't like black people, and he does refer to them constantly as nigger. I only say that quoting to read this manifesto. But then I find it interesting that while, like, using a word like that for black people, he's careful with the word Hispanics. Well, that was kind of interesting. But the next section on here, unlike many white nationalists, I'm of the opinion the majority of American and European Jews are white. In my opinion, the issues with Jews is not their blood, but their identity. I think if we could somehow destroy the Jewish identity, then they wouldn't cause much problem. And he goes on.
Yeah, but most of the Jews that are in Zionism, which I would argue is the problem, not Judaism in and of itself, most of them have very little of actual Jewish practice in them. They're some of the most vile, self-centered, greedy, evil people of our time. The ones that are acting like Jews, to paraphrase what he said, are actually the ones who are not the problem. They're some of the best hope in America today. He was a very backwards person.
Yeah, it sounds like this was a kid who just kind of went, like, it's kind of one of the downsides of the internet that this kid went online after the Michael Brown shooting looking for a certain thing. And anytime that you go onto the internet searching for specific information, you'll always find things that back up what you want them to. You're always, if you go on Google and you type in, why are Mexicans lazy? You'll find a million fucking articles telling you why. That doesn't mean they're right.
If you, Christelle and I were laughing about this. If you go to certain Gary Johnson websites and read the comment line, you'll be certain that he's going to win the election.
Why?
You know what? Like,
yeah.
Everybody cheered everybody else on, and we got it this time. And we don't, and again, I'll happily vote. I may happily vote for the man again.
For him, but
my point is, Rand Paul is another one.
Bias.
the internet bias will get you, and you'll be sure that everybody thinks this way because you're reading a few hundred or a few thousand people that do, and you're not thinking, and I don't mean this now with Gary Johnson. I mean this with the idiot that we're talking about, this roof shooter. You end up on idiot websites, and just because you found a few thousand idiots, now you think the whole world thinks this way.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Be careful, Sam. Be careful, Sam. You're going to end up on an ISIS website, and then, anyways.
Yeah, but he's right. Like it's the same thing that happens.
It's the same thing, D-Like. Yeah, good analogy.
Something happens like anywhere, and it could be even like a non-issue where everybody in the town where it happened like doesn't care about it at all. But you go and read the Twitter like hashtag whatever, and you're getting like the consensus of the dumbest 1%, like the bottom 1% of intelligence, combined with trolls who are intentionally getting them to say this shit at any means possible, and then some reporter goes online and looks at all the Twitter feed and says, look, we're about to break into a fucking civil war, and it's like, no, there's just a few idiots out there, and most of us agree that they're ridiculous. And I think that as much, and I want to hear you guys' opinion on this, but have you heard about this Dylann Roof's uncle and what he's been saying?
No.
His uncle apparently has made a few comments where he's just like, he's horrible, like he's like, that does not represent us, and at one point said like, if he gets the death penalty, I'll flip the fucking switch.
The uncle said that.
The uncle said that, which like is kind of rough. I was about to look up.
Where was the uncle the past 21 years of this guy's life? Is what I want to know.
That's the tough part, is that he's like part of the family, and like being part of the family, it's kind of like, just fucking keep your head down,
part
bro.
Of the family,
but like
part of the problem.
There's another part of me that says like, and we've talked about the perception a lot of people have that whenever there's Islamic terrorism, that Islamic people in the Western world don't really stand up and appall it. And so I see the other side of me says like, as three white dudes right here, like we all have to say like, this guy does not represent white people in any way.
Absolutely
we appall everything that he did.
Absolutely not.
Like.
Well, yeah. Can we condemn him as a stupid white person? I have the article here about Charleston killer plan to shoot up college campus instead of a church. Claims black drinking buddy who says they were homeboys, and there's his homeboy. But Sam, can you address? Thanks, website, with your stupid sound coming in my eardrum. Sam, can you address the day after the shooting when it was the top headline on Drudge just 2 days ago? Then all of a sudden everyone took to Twitter to say, ban all guns from all white people. Sam.
Thank you, D-Lake. Yes, Paul Joseph Watson had put up what I saw to be, I think you could take your average black man, they would call this the worst decision ever. You could take just about anybody in the world and realize that this is going to be a disaster. Dumbest thing, this is dumber than the knife I just covered. A Charleston shooting, liberals call for disarming all white people. Now, first of all, I am not in favor of anybody. But if someone said we were going to disarm all Koreans, we're going to disarm all Africans, we're going to disarm all Irish people, where in the world does, when you say something like this into a microphone, how do you continue to have a career?
Wait, but Sam, where's that information coming from? What are they basing that article on?
It says liberals reacted to the tragic shooting of an Episcopal church in Charleston last night by calling for immediate gun ban to disarm all white people. Police are still on the, well, they're not on the hunt for him now.
Real quickly, Sam, to answer Kyle's question, those are coming from actual people on Twitter's comments.
Oh yeah, I see what you mean. I thought he meant what article. I'm sorry.
No, like the person who wrote that article is basing that information on a ton of like dum-dums on Twitter saying take the guns.
It's essentially a twitchy article in a way.
Yeah, so nobody, what we can take from that is nobody's actually calling for the disarmament of white people.
No, everyone on Twitter is. Sam, go ahead.
Well, no, it wasn't just, but it was. It said it's comedian Rohan Joshi has 395,000 Twitter followers who reacted to the shooting by calling for the NRA to be designated a terror organization.
A
So I mean,
comedian?
what? And for
Sam,
but it wasn't a joke. I mean, it was
Sam,
kind
click out of that article right now.
of it
Well,
was.
like you can't say that though. He's a comedian and he said something on
I
Twitter.
said, how does he still have a career?
Okay.
No, what I'm
He's a
saying is,
comedian.
you're missing it.
Yeah.
If he
Sarah,
was to
answer the other
if he was to come out and say that he was in favor of abortion, half the people on his Twitter feed statistically would be very angry about it. The very large number of people who thought this was a good idea is my point. Not that they're the majority of people that think it's a good idea, but we have a growing number of people that will allow themselves to jump on any side of the race issue is my bigger point here, and that's what alarms me. The divide and conquer that our leaders are using against us is working, is my point.
Well, Sam, can you read a couple of the Twitter comments that follow what the comedian said?
Yeah. He wrote short of gun.
Just so Kyle can get a laugh. Go ahead.
Indeed. The sooner we start taking guns away from white people and police, the better. That's from The Devil Within. I'm going to pick 4 of them randomly. Sammy Shaw with an I. White people with guns are like Boko Haram of America. Gunner Gauze, G-O-Z. I don't know how many black people in America, how many racist whites with guns, how many whites in power and in denial. And this is Tisden, T-I-S-D-N.
How many of these are eggs? How many of these have the egg as their profile picture?
Racist white men with guns are far scarier than ISIS to me. They're the real terrorists. So,
Yeah.
I mean, again, we let women drive a car and keep their heads. We're much more frightening. The thing is,
Sam, you're responding to not real people. Those aren't real people. You can't respond to those. You just did it. You fell into the trap. You responded with like a retort against a fake person saying something.
It would be a real person. It would be a real person with a stupid point of view. But again, my point isn't whether or not we want to disarm white people. Obviously, no, that's not going to happen. My point being that somebody can say something stupid like that, and we have this massive influx of people, even if it's a very small percentage, that say, "Yeah, let's do that."
No, we have a stupid media who takes things the wrong way. A comedian said something, and his followers continued to joke with him. That's what that was.
It wasn't a joke.
He said it on Twitter. How do you know? Comedians don't use their Twitter to like get politically involved. They use it to get people to come to their shows.
This is
I go to a lot of comedy shows. Like that's how it works.
You have to look at the PJ Dub article. It's not he's a comedian who put his real view on, and his real view that he put on was that guns should be taken away from white people.
And Sam, if you don't mind, can you just skip down to the bottom of the article and read some of the statistics about blacks, guns, killing?
Yeah, before I do this, I want to mention again, it's not something I'm going to present here because I want a cheering section from white people, or because I'm trying to separate the races. I'd rather point out that I think it's more important to realize where the country is and where the kind of comments about division are winning. It says the fact that black people are responsible for half of all homicides, and they have a link for this, in the United States, despite making up only 13% of the population, would seemingly dispel the notion that disarming only whites make any kind of sense. Despite being outnumbered by whites 5-1, blacks commit 8 times more crimes against whites and vice versa, according to FBI statistics from 2007. And a black male is 40 times more likely to assault a white person as the reverse. PJ Dub writes that figures in other countries show a similar trend, with half the victims of racial murders in the United Kingdom being white. Incidents involving hate crimes, it goes on, including murders where the perpetrator is black and the victim is white, is almost universally ignored by the mainstream media. Law-abiding blacks should not be made to feel guilty for the disappropriately high black homicide rates, but by the same token, law-abiding whites should not be blamed for events like the Charleston shooting. And I think that is a very excellent way to end that article from PJ Dub.
No, I'm disappointed in PJ Dub for that article. Like, one, the moral of that story was like common sense. That's like, if someone gives me and you a cookie, Sam, I don't shove mine in my mouth and grab your cookie. Like, yeah, duh, of course we know
No,
that.
no, but the whole thing I think that's important about that is that what our leaders are doing. I call the division culture. I've heard it called the Hegelian dialectic. Present the problem and come in as the savior for the
Right.
problem.
Problem reaction.
And one of the things that they need is that problem. And if, God forbid, I do not want it to happen, if a black man goes in and kills a bunch of people in a white church, I don't think we need to let that divide us either, because these things are used against us to get us fighting amongst each other. And judging by the reactions that even a comedian can get, even if he was kidding, the people that replied weren't, is frightening. And I think it's, unfortunately, our leaders, it's working. And I think that's what I want more people to realize, is we're letting it work.
Well, can we address never letting a good crisis go to waste? And in fact, whenever any type of thing happens like this, it's going to get political. And
Yeah, absolutely. And this, I mean, the way that I've been seeing it spun the most is in two ways. One way that I've been seeing it spun a lot is to like the people really focusing on the fact that this kid was from a conservative family. I don't even think that he really ever stated an official political view aside from liking the Confederacy. But they're trying to make it more about Southerners.
a South African apartheid.
Yeah, he's very much in the South African apartheid. But they're trying to make it more about like other people, like making it more about the people in his town, I guess, than about him, and trying to use it against them. And then the other side is I've been hearing a lot of things like, well, the people on Fox News would not like you to think this is a hate crime. And like I listen to all media outlets, like I listen to fucking Rachel Maddow all the way to Alex Jones, and like nobody's saying this isn't a hate crime. Like everybody is in agreement. Like, and when they say that to somebody who had never watched like whatever network they accuse, Fox News or conservative talk radio, the person who had never listened to that stuff isn't going to go start listening now. They're just going to assume that they're even worse than they thought before. And so it's being,
that's frightening too, because it hurdles everybody into one mindset. I saw some thread. Someone said, if you could eliminate any one thing in the world for the betterment of it all, what would it be? Some idiot wrote Republicans and got 3 thumbs up, which is fine. I agree with that, but I'd be willing to bet that all 3 of those thumbs up were because
obviously Filipino
absolutely Hillary Clinton fans. And when you hear people speak of such things, and yet they do it in such a way that it leads to only one way of thinking. And I think we've covered that on here a lot. There's only one way that you're allowed to think anymore, Kyle.
Yeah, I've started a new thing that I do where if anybody posts anything that supports either paradigm, I just unfriend them. It helps. Yeah, seriously, somebody posts some things like Dick Cheney should be in jail. It's like, 1, that was fucking 7 years ago. 2, you're only posting that because you want Hillary Clinton. Unfriend right now.
Yeah, I wanted to point out, I'm trying to bring up this article real quick. Just the other day, Martin O'Malley, and I brought up Martin O'Malley with you guys. He was the Maryland governor that is going to potentially run for president.
That's the guy with his shirt off, right?
Yeah, he's the shirtless president. And he made statements. I'm not sure. I don't think he's entered the race just yet, but I know that he's definitely planning on it. Bill Clinton said that he would make a perfect president.
Shirtless president.
But he says, quote unquote, I'm pissed that after an unthinkable tragedy like the one in South Carolina yesterday, instead of jumping to act, we sit back and wait for the appropriate moment to say what we're all thinking, that this is not the America we want to be living in. I'm pissed that we actually that we're actually asking ourselves the horrific question, what will it take? Anyways, he says, I'm pissed that after working hard in the state of Maryland, where all that crap that just happened in Baltimore went down, to pass real gun control laws that banned high magazine weapons. Again, Dylann Roof used a .45 handgun. Increased licensing standards. He got it as a birthday present. And required fingerprinting for handgun purchases. Congress continues to drop the ball. Where does he starts blaming Republicans. So now I'm doubling down and I need your help. He's like, oh, Republicans think that this crisis could have been averted by, other people having guns. And he acts like that's a stupid answer to the situation. Well, my friend, you stupid fucking idiot, people are getting shot in gun-free zones. And if someone was there with a gun to shoot the motherfucker, we could have saved lives. Jesus, I'm sick and tired of these politicians. And then stupid-ass Hillary Clinton is going to blame Donald Trump entering the Republican race? Guys, I'm sorry. I need to settle down. Sorry, go ahead. Someone else, please. I'm sorry.
Dylan needs to splash some water on his face.
I can tell you. I'll tell you.
On my face.
There are some people waking up when I was going on my little division rant. At least I thought it was a rant until I heard D-Lake. Now I realize it wasn't. And I agree with every word he said, by the way. Killer Mike. It's a killer rap on Charleston. I wish those folks in that church had been armed. Artist and activist Killer Mike caused a bit of social media stir today when he tweeted that he believes the Charleston victims should have been armed. Killer Mike hasn't been shy about sharing his views on rioting in places like Ferguson and Baltimore in the media coverage, and has argued the link between rap and violence. Well, today he made his case to why the Charleston victims should have been armed and responded to some on the Twitter pushback that he got. And you can read, what people said back and forth if you wish. But a lot of them said, why not? Some said, I will never be pro-gun control as long as blacks can be killed by the state, and so can a terrorist. No, I'm going to be pro-guns my whole life. Well, you know what? We agree. We absolutely agree. In every way, concerning this, I should say, in every way. Absolutely. Absolutely, D-Lake.
Yeah.
Because right now, thankfully, the behind the scenes queens, Christelle, is in Alliance, Ohio, and about some properties we bought. One of the properties aren't in the best neighborhood in Alliance, and you know what? That's why you're pro Second Amendment. That's why you can go look at houses and not worry that you're not going to get out of it with your life in order. An armed society is by its very nature a polite society.
Yeah, absolutely. You never see more polite people than when you're at the gun range.
When was last time there was a mass shooting at a church in Switzerland? Okay, if I can get to this
nice. D-Lake's on a roll tonight. He really is. D-Lake is on a roll.
Thank you. I wish my web pages were. I wish my internet connection was on a roll, Sam. Trump campaign response to Hillary. That would be Hillary Clinton. And while I'm in rant mode, can I throw out that it's not going to be Clinton versus Bush in the upcoming 2016 election. It's going to be Hillary versus Jeb. Jeb sounds like something I do to my penis when I'm masturbating.
You're doing it wrong.
Trump, yeah, I'm jebbing it. No, you're supposed to be joking it. Trump campaign responds to Hillary linking him to South Carolina shooting. She must be nervous. GOP presidential candidate Donald Trump says he thinks Hillary Clinton lost all credibility when she blamed him, Donald Trump, for the massacre at a church in South Carolina. My web pages are not scrolling or responding fast enough. The 2016 Democratic presidential frontrunner hinted that the shooting at a church in Charleston, South Carolina, is in some way connected to Donald Trump's recent presidential announcement.
What's the connection?
Wait. It's all, do you want to kill the pages or wait, D-Lake? Because we cannot link to your shit.
I want to see them. I want to know what the link is. How do you connect those two things together?
Public discourse is sometimes hot. This is a quote from Hillary Clinton. Or no, wait. Jesus!
No!
Come on, Internet! I'm on a roll here, and you're stifling me. Kyle, I'm going to go shoot up the Internet.
It's not
How do I
funny.
do that?
You just got us like 6 bad comments.
No, thank you. Yeah, thank you,
Thank you.
internet.
I'm gonna splash some cold water on my face. Go ahead, Kyle.
All hail precious internet. No, I mean, I hate the politicizing of it. It's like, this to me is a really, really cut and dry situation. Like, we see what happened. We all know by now quite a bit the ins and outs of what makes a person do this, and he's got all the warning signs. He wrote a really shitty manifesto. Loved to go visit Confederate. He went to a Confederate burial ground. He went to a Confederate museum. He took here. Let me pull up my pictures again. Like this photo album that his website really sucks. So you have to like download it in a zip
Stop,
file.
plug in, reload, page. Jesus.
Oh, you got it.
Okay. Clinton told an interviewer. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Clinton told an interviewer, quote unquote, public discourse is sometimes hotter than more negative than it should be, which can, in my opinion, Hillary Clinton's opinion, now the video pops up. Okay, here we go. Trigger someone who is less than stable, like Dylann Roof. I think we have to speak out against it. Like, for example, a recent entry into the Republican presidential campaign. Now, hey, Jeb Bush announced on Sunday. Donald Trump announced he announced on Monday. Trump announced on Tuesday. So who is the recent entry into the Republican presidential campaign that we could be talking about here, Kyle? Said some very inflammatory things about Mexicans. We're talking about a black and white guy going into a black church, and now we're talking about Mexicans. Everybody should stand up and say that's not acceptable. And thank you for playing the sound in my ears at full volume, Breitbart.com, you shitty website. Dude, I'm sick of Breitbart. Fuck it.
Yeah, I don't go to any website that like after I start reading an article 15 seconds afterwards it's like sign up for our shit, and I'm like, no, leave me alone.
Pop up, freezing internet connection. I'm sorry guys. It's just
I was just saying before you got your internet back, if we go to my screen share that I got here, which might work. No? Oh, here we go. That this kid, a Confederate cemetery, checking out all the Confederate stuff. He takes a lot of pictures in like random places that I obviously don't know what they are, but like I only assume based on all the other pictures have very racially motivated roots.
Morbid racial roots. Now, how does a 21-year-old high school dropout know so goddamn much about Africa, South Africa, guns, and racism, Kyle?
Yeah, well, and that's something that I wanted to say too, is like these parents who gave him like this kid who obviously had issues a handgun for his birthday, and like the judge, there's a video going around where the judge said like all like there are the victims, but let us like not forget the people that are being hurt by this in his own family. And kind of like you said, like how does a 21-year-old know so fucking much about apartheid era South Africa and fucking like all these different, like he's visited like multiple different like historical Confederate sites and gone to things that other people like don't seem to care about, but he just like walks out and takes a picture because it has some like deep meaning to him. Specifically,
he's always in that Mobb Deep rapper squatting position in the pictures too.
Yeah, and like he takes like this picture right here, like that's kind of like a gangster type picture to take. I would expect a rap fan to have that picture on their Facebook profile.
Okay,
you
got the wide shot. I got the close up right here. 45
no shirt
block
on.
in your face, biatch. No shirt, little nipples. Got a little mole on my chest. Bowl haircut. Fucking 1980s sunglasses. Got my Seagrams. Got my Budweiser plaques on the wall, motherfucker.
Seagrams. You know what it kind of reminds me of?
One
Like,
of the things go ahead.
When I was in high school, there was a group of kids who all were like quote unquote skinheads, and they all wore the black boots with the white laces and everything. But then like one day I saw them all hanging out with a black kid. I'm like, I thought, and I kind of like just like I couldn't help it, like I thought you guys were I thought you guys were skinheads, and they're like, yeah, but he's cool. It's like I I don't know how that works in their head, but I think this is a similar situation with this kid. Like
I
he had an issue, like he had an issue connecting the theology to his own personal life. He saw it as like, oh, well, those are those ones, not the ones I know. You
Yeah,
know?
and I believe too. What is it? Where you can believe two things at one time. There's a name for that. I forget what it's called, but something dissonance. But in any event, I worry too with someone like him. If he would have been, if he would have met a black individual who said, "Hey, you know what? I bet you we could make rap music together," and hold him away in a basement for 6 months, he'd come out in 6 months thinking he was a rapper. If he met an Oriental person and
That
an
would be
An
called that.
Asian person, and they started taking martial arts lessons, bam, automatically it would be whatever religion, whatever Asian religion it is that they had, bam, that's what he would be. I think he was whatever influenced him and seemed to really shock people was what it was that he got into. He
He's a
could,
shapeshifter.
he just as easily could have been a
Yeah, and they said that I read a few things where people who went to high school with him said that he was an emo in high school. So that actually makes a lot of sense.
which would be the exact opposite of racism in almost every incident.
Yes, but like you said, it's like it is a group who's kind of
Yes.
on the outside, but there
Yep.
is shit to be a part of. Yeah.
Hmm.
Guys, I know I was on a crazy rant mode, and my internet not coming up in a timely manner was really pissing me off even more. But
I apologize or accept
uh,
your apology.
thank you.
Yeah.
I did read the quote about what Hillary Clinton told an interviewer, and Clinton was referring to Donald Trump's announcement speech when he commented about the illegal aliens coming across the southern border from Mexico. Kyle, after I read this quote from Donald Trump, if you didn't see it the other day in his speech, if you could address it real fast before I continue with the rest of the article. Donald Trump said they're not setting their best, and this was during his rambling sort of part of the sort of ad lib part of his speech. They're not sending their best. They're not sending you. They're not sending you. They're sending people that have lots of problems, and they're bringing those problems with us. That doesn't really make a lot of sense, but they're bringing drugs. They're bringing crime. They're bringing rapists. And some, I assume, are good people. Trump said it in his announcement speech, which Hillary says is something that would incite, be so very inflammatory about Mexicans that would inspire Dylann Roof to go
That's it. I'm
shoot up
killing
a
black
church full
people.
of black people. Okay. A spokesperson said Trump sends his prayers and condolences to South Carolina residents. Following the violent incident, Donald Trump canceled a sold-out campaign event in South Carolina out of respect for the grieving. Now, keep in mind, Barack Obama didn't cancel any fundraising trips to Hollywood this past 2 days, and neither is Hillary. She's going to be out there soliciting funds from donors in Hollywood. And we got to talk about gun violence in Hollywood and all that other crap. Meanwhile, Donald Trump cancels the sold-out event out of respect for the grieving, quote unquote. At this time of national sorrow, a responsible leader should be focused on uniting and healing the country, the spokesman said, adding, Mr. Trump believes that Hillary Clinton does not have any credibility when she blames words for violence. This is the same politician who lied to the world after she failed to take proper steps to secure the U.S. consulate in Benghazi and falsely blamed the radical Islamic attack on a YouTube video. This is the same person who illegally deleted her emails after getting a subpoena from the U.S. Congress. Also, it is, quote unquote, totally inappropriate for Clinton to use this tragedy as a way to attack a political opponent, but never let a good tragedy go to waste, Kyle. She must be nervous about something, he added, hinting Clinton must feel threatened by Donald Trump's recent media popularity following his formal White House bid. I would just like to point out that I think it is a good thing that Donald Trump announced his run for the presidency. You may or may not agree with me, but I ride the trolley home from work every day, and I have yet to hear people on the trolley talk about anyone entering the race except Donald Trump. People seem to like it. They think it's a good idea. How do you guys feel?
We're gonna have to kick you out of the media speaks, David.
Is that going to be that's a whole different show. We're focused on the shooter. But how do you? Okay, let me just rewind, Kyle. How do you feel about Hillary Clinton potentially blaming Donald Trump announcing he's running for president, being linked to Dylann Roof shooting a church full of black people in any way? Was that right or wrong of Hillary to do, Kyle?
That was like the worst taste possible.
The worst taste in your mouth possible? What do you mean?
Like, to use that, like, and it's so obvious that she was just trying to use it somehow, and it's
She
like,
doesn't say
really?
his name. She says, "Oh, someone who recently entered the race." Jeb Bush announced just the day before. I mean, who is she talking about here?
My problem is, and I haven't heard you mention it yet. You do realize that Trump wants Oprah as a running mate. So if he was to win, you would still end up with Hillary. She would just be named Oprah.
We shall see.
You can vote for Jesse Ventura and get Howard Stern too.
I was just going to say that's when Jesse lost my vote. There's no hope of him getting my vote.
No one has announced their running mate yet, guys. You guys are getting ahead of yourselves.
Hey, Jesse Ventura did.
Let's let this thing play out.
All right, I think it's time for entertainment. Do a quick entertainment, and I got to get out of here.
All right, yeah, I feel good about that.
Because I'm going to see Jurassic World tonight, which Sam already saw.
I saw it. Yes, it's good. Again, it's exactly what you would expect, but it's good.
Dinosaurs and Chris Pratt.
Pretty much, yeah. But I mean, again, I liked it. It was good. I also saw Poltergeist. Possibly, it was all right. The original on that one is better. The acting on this and I don't know. On that one, you're gonna want to go with the original.
Do you see anything?
Yeah, I watched American Sniper last night.
Yeah, you finally watched it. What'd you think?
I thought it was alright. I thought it was pretty good. I mean, as a movie, I was trying not to concern myself with what was real, what was movie Hollywood take.
Just purely watch it as a movie?
Yeah, just watch it as a movie. And in that way, I thought it was well constructed and directed. I think Clint Eastwood did a good job. I mean, there was a lot of skewing of morality in that movie. I mean, hell, why doesn't Hillary Clinton just blame American Sniper for the Dylann Roof shooting in South Carolina? I mean, I don't know.
So I heard somebody put it in a very clever way, and I want to see. All right, so in that movie, spoilers, there's like a bad guy sniper, like an Al Qaeda sniper, and there's like a part like where like he has to like take this like crazy impossible shot like really far through a window, and he gets him. Like think about it, like
rooftop.
Any other you could make a movie where that other sniper shoots him and is the good guy.
You could make a totally opposite movie. I mean, Kyle, there's two sides to every story. This story makes Chris Kyle the hero. I mean, there's a lot of stuff surrounding Chris Kyle. I don't want to bring that into the discussion. I just want to talk about it purely as a movie for entertainment purposes.
It wasn't the worst movie ever made. There were a lot of parts that were like way too cheesy, like the lines, like the dialogue. I don't think it was written that awesomely.
And what's his name, Brad or something?
Bradley Cooper.
Bradley Cooper. He had to keep the the Texas accent going, and he's a tall guy, muscular, Navy SEAL from Texas, and this is how I do it in Texas or some shit like that. But overall, I thought it was a good movie, and I would recommend it.
Wow. Okay. I think you're turning into like a neocon on today's show.
Yeah, and I would like to bomb ISIS in Syria immediately.
First, he's like saying,
I'm all for stand down orders to attack any giant tower targets in the United States.
I think you'll be interested when you go to see the movie is that what you're seeing is with Jurassic Park, they pick up with the Jurassic World. They pick up where the last one ended. It's more that there are surprises. There are surprises in this one, with Poltergeist, they just redid it, and it wasn't as good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I've been listening. Like, I didn't even want to see Jurassic World, but like everybody on every podcast has been talking about it. So
It's not. I think it's a little overhyped, but it's good. It's a good monster movie.
Well,
Um,
Kyle,
he was,
Kyle,
before you go, D-Lake was talking. You were talking about D-Lake becoming a neocon. Did you hear about? And
Yeah.
again, Clay Pigeons being the funniest movie ever. I do believe of the entire '90s. Vince Vaughn will be shunned by Hollywood after outing himself as a conservative. I thought this was
that's
interesting.
not news. I've known that Vince Vaughn was a conservative for like 5 years.
yeah. And he
He
recently made those
said
gun
he doesn't.
statements
He
like
said
2
he
weeks
doesn't
ago.
expect to ever work again after actually admitting it. He thinks he'll probably
Oh,
be
please, he'll
blackballed.
work again. He'll work again just fine.
It'll be fine.
He's one of the only people in Hollywood right now who I actually find to be funny. I really think I wait for his when he's in something.
Look at Kyle's face. Kyle's like, you need to search more comedy, Sam.
No, I find that so much of it is contrived or like you're supposed to laugh, but it doesn't really make me laugh. He always does.
Yeah.
Sam, you would love the movie White Men Can't Jump. Woody
Starring
Harrelson's
Woody
in it.
Harrelson and Wesley Snipes, a great movie.
Yeah, that's all I say. I don't know. I like a slightly drier, less forced upon humor, I guess. Unless it's going to be all out stupid like the Three Stooges, and then that's fine too.
Okay.
But this forced laughter, I don't know.
All right,
Wait,
I
like this?
gotta.
Listeners,
Don't
somebody leave a comment. Listeners,
Take
who else
off
really
screen
thinks Vince
share,
Vaughn is
like,
funny?
You
Who
can't put
else?
laughter with somebody who just killed 9 people.
Oh yeah, we're gonna get a bunch of negative views. Hey everyone, check it out. I'm broadcasting live from the Sticker Junkie offices today since my cats totally broke my monitor.
That's the worst time to do a plug.
Yeah. Hey everyone, do me a favor. Go to stickerjunkie.com where you can create your own stickers that say whatever you want, or you can upload your artwork. We'll make cool, awesome graphics like what you see behind me on the wall there.
I saw someone with a Sticker Junkie bumper
And,
sticker yesterday.
Yeah, we're getting the wall filled in. Oh, you saw a Sticker Junkie bumper sticker? Yeah, that's
Yeah.
awesome. I hope
I was
everyone makes
leaving
money off
Meijer
that.
by my house, the grocery store, and somebody had a sticker, and it was I could see that they used your easy to use template to make it.
And you
Oh,
don't
yeah,
forget,
that's
you
great.
got Noses. Shout out to Noses. He's going to be getting his stickers made from Sticker Junkie too, our percussionist.
Oh, sweet. Yeah, we'll do the best we can to make those awesome and amazing. So thanks for the plug on that. But what I really wanted to say is that don't go kill anyone in a church, a school, or anywhere where there's nice people, okay? Get a good high school education. Don't take Suboxone.
Or at least a high school education.
Don't take a bunch of stupid drugs. Your problems aren't that fucking bad.
Look, we get
Be
that you're gonna have
okay.
a few beers, maybe smoke a little weed. You're young. We get
Have
that.
a few beers, smoke a little weed, go to a fucking camp out with a nice campfire.
Go to summer camp.
Eat s'mores with chocolate and marshmallows. Don't listen to Michelle Obama and try to do it with strawberries and yogurt because that's not going to come out good.
Tell ghost stories.
Tell ghost stories. And just
Develop a social circle, whether that be people who are into computers, chess, LARPing. As long as it's not killing other people, just develop a social circle. Surround yourself with people that you like.
find your niche.
Yeah. It's
Try to
probably,
have
I'm
more
not
than
going to lie
80
to you,
friends on Facebook.
your niche is probably LARPing. Like, if you had a foam sword and, like, a fake knight's outfit, you'd probably be a really happy person. But explore everything and find, that might be it. It probably is it, but it might be something else.
Hey, I like role-playing games. It could very well be it. I'm telling you.
It probably is.
I will stand
Most
proud.
likely.
I will stand proud of the plastic sword at any nerd convention.
Get
Everyone.
yourself some 8-sided dice.
You can get the 100-sided dice. They're like a
Get the
ball.
16. Oh, yeah, 100-sided.
I complete
Um,
nerd side to me. I admit it. Absolutely.
For some real
Absolutely.
shit.
Okay, I
I
just went back
admit
to
the plastic sword here on TCV or TMS.
I just went back to screen share here near the end. There's Dylann Roof pointing his Glock, his 45 caliber weapon right at the camera. Apparently, we can't do that in Hollywood anymore while we're in the entertainment section. Kyle, are you aware that like Hollywood actors can't on the billboard posters can't be pointing the gun directly at the camera anymore?
Really?
Yeah, it was a new thing that they tried to institute that say, you can have it like held up or kind of holding it, but you can't be doing the direct to the camera.
What about the classic James Bond shot where it's looking through the barrel at someone?
That's interesting. I'm not really sure about that. That's
Or
probably
like the
banned as well, I'm
sniper
sure.
where you're looking through the scope?
Yeah. But now viewers are just dropping off. They're like, the show is waning. The beginning of the show, we had tons of viewers. Everyone was really excited about what we were talking about, the news and information. We
Good.
segued
They
into
want the news
entertainment.
and not the entertainment. Good. I'll take that. I'll take
I'll
that.
take it.
Well,
I'll take it.
don't you think that's better that we had way more viewers up front when we were talking about real stuff, and then
Yep.
we get into entertainment, and D-Lake's all, I thought American Sniper was good, and Kyle's like, you're a neocon, warmonger. Like, I mean,
You were talking up Donald Trump too, so.
and he likes Donald Trump in the Republican race, and like, what's up with this D-Lake guy? Hey, man, I'm just trying to keep shit interesting, lively, fun, and interesting, like I think Donald Trump will do with the Republican race, and I can't wait to see him get in the debates and see how that goes.
Yeah, it would make the debates more fun. That's true. When did the
More
debates
interesting.
start? I mean, I'm like antsy. I'm like, I haven't seen a debate in like 4 years. Come on.
I saw a
Yeah,
really interesting thing on Gary Johnson's post too. Why have we not had a third party a voice at all? None since Ross Perot. Think about it,
Yeah.
Ross Perot.
Yeah.
They're
They have
not-
to have
Well,
their
I
own
mean,
third-party
I didn't
debate.
want to get too far into Donald Trump, but I did have another article about people calling him a joke could end up, laughing at themselves, or people that say that Donald Trump's a joke. The joke could be on them, because he's an award-winning person. He's a best-selling author. He's a best-selling author. He's a real estate mogul. He says a lot of true shit. I met him in person. Look, I just wanted to be president because I met him in person. It'd be the only president I ever met in person. Come on.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. But D, like, I have won a lot of awards. I got like 4 blue ribbons for piano. I won the rain.
my God.
The
Are
rain
you worth
gutter.
Please don't shut this show down for a minute.
I won the
$9 billion.
rain gutter boat regatta when I was a Boy Scout.
Are you worth $8.7 billion? That's the question.
Not yet.
So you
Not
would have
yet.
to raise money
But
for your
at
campaign.
one point,
Unlike
Donald
Trump.
Trump was almost broke.
Yeah, he's almost filed bankruptcy a couple of times. His airline, Trump Airlines, was a stupid fucking idea, but that was
Yeah, and
a long
I'm not
time
entering
ago,
the
dude.
race
he's
now.
got
I'm
good
in that
ideas.
point.
Come on, man.
I'm in that point, like where Donald Trump was then, and in like 8 to 10 years when
Look, all the viewers are coming back.
8 years from now, I'll run.
My name's not D-Lake for Prez for no reason. I'm hoping to get a spot in Donald Trump's
All right,
administration.
you've got to hear this before we log off.
Okay.
There is a post that's on Cop Block that says that African American church defies the president and members carry gun to service for self-defense. I had written, I do not blame them, that is their God-given right. Someone named Christian Scudder wrote, God gave them the right, question mark, question mark, question mark.
Sam, I think, missed the part.
I wrote, according to the Constitution, yes, we have God-given rights. The second right is the right to own guns. A black person has as much right as a white person. All people, that is our right. The person did not know that according to the Constitution, the rights do not come from man. Right there. There you go. That's the problem. It's not the color. It's the fact that we don't even know our own Constitution.
Sam missed the part of the show where we talked about who leaves comments on Twitter and Facebook.
No, Cop Block is very...
Cop Block, yeah. Cop Block.
I love it.
I've read the comments on Cop Block. It's the same people who comment on our videos.
No, here's where somebody proves Kyle wrong. Josh Stewart wrote, Christian is probably just a stupid-ass atheist. In other words, there are some people on Cop Block that do in fact know that our rights come from God.
No, but that was another troll. You just quoted another troll, Sam.
I quoted somebody that absolutely is right. The Second Amendment is a God-given right, Kyle.
Yes, But you're not getting it, Sam. We have to have a discussion on trolling and commenting.
No, there's a difference. Every comment that you don't like or don't like the thread, you call a troll. That doesn't count.
No. But that guy was trolling. He didn't say that because for any reason of agreement. He said that to continue the argument and make it fun for himself.
No, I don't believe so at all. I think that there are people that generally do not know what their rights are. They have no idea where rights come from. They think rights come from the person who happens to be in office.
I agree, but I don't think that you can take any reliable poll from commenters on Cop Block. Commenters, it's like people who call into talk radio. Have you ever noticed that people who call into talk radio are always like the last person who should ever call into talk radio? Like, John, you're on the air. Hello? Yes,
No.
John, you're on the air. Man cow? Yes, you're on the air.
Have you ever done that? There's normally a delay in your phone, too.
I've never had an issue. I've called in like a million times.
I used to call Trevisano or I don't like Levin anymore, but Levin, even his call screener had a delay.
Levin's an asshole to his callers. I would never.
I don't like Levin anymore. I also don't like Hannity for the same reason. He's a jerk to his callers.
Yeah, it's really like, and anybody.
Oh, but Savage is it?
Everything. I don't like him at all anymore.
D-Lake loves all those guys because he's
all of them. He wants Sean Hannity to be president.
Yeah. Hey, I'm Sean Hannity. I'm Sean Hannity over here. Hey, I'm Sean Hannity. Hey, I'm Sean Hannity. Hey, I'm going to talk like this for the whole interview. Is that okay with you, Dr. Ron Paul? I'm Sean fucking Hannity.
You sound a little more like Dan Badandi, but that's okay.
I sound a little bit more like Dan by Dandy. Dan by Dandy. Whatever.
D-Like loves all those guys now that he's a neocon, though.
Now that I'm a neocon,
I like Badandi.
Donald Trump over here. Now that I'm for the Donald. Okay.
All right. My personal YouTube is NoseHair515. If you don't like being offended, you probably shouldn't click it.
No, but it's fun to be offended on that site.
If you like being offended and you like commenting that this guy is a clown like Donald Trump, then watch my videos on David Lake on YouTube because you'll be like, what's with the fucking black gloves and the glasses and the
I was gonna say, ask him about the gloves and glasses.
Yeah, my ISIS threatens Obama with beheading in the White House video has over 33,000 views. It has 18 people like it and about 50-something people dislike it. I still regularly get comments on that video saying, this guy is hilarious. What's up with the gloves? You know, we just don't know where this guy's coming from. Drop the baseline. He's really weird. But we kind of like him, but we kind of don't. We'd rather hate him. People would rather hate me and come massacre me with their fucking birthday present 45s. Hey, you stupid fucking white racist 21-year-old with your bowl haircut. Do me a favor. Just kill yourself instead of killing anyone else. Thank you. I'm D-Like for Prez.
Find me on CMIB DeGange. You can go to themediaspeaks.com. You can go to youtube.com/thecorrectviews. I'm on Tumblr, me, myself, and I. I think I am Tumblr. Nobody else is on Tumblr. Planet.infowars, and leave a message, leave a comment, and I will do my best to answer it.
Yeah, go the correct views 69 on AOL Instant Messenger. If he's not there, his away message will pop up.
And I'm probably dancing on doing sex dances on the other line. It's fine. I'll click right over.
The Media Speaks.
Out of here.
The Media Speaks. Type that shit on the internet. If you can't find us, then you're not using the internet right, and then you probably don't deserve to find us.